Hello. It's Mondays at 5, and you know what time it is. What time is it, Maggie?
It's 5 p.m.
It's Word Out West. Time for the Word Out West. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh my gosh. About 8 shows in already.
I know.
That's really cool. Today we have a very special guest with a very special story. Hi. Thank you for being here with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ms. Geri Clark from Chicago, who works in prevention, is going to be telling us a little bit about what she does and why she does it. She'll be sharing a background story that we are hoping will inspire a lot of you out there. Feel free to call in 312-738-1060 if you have any questions along the way. But let's dig right in. Ms. Geri Clark, tell us about the work that you do in the community on heroin and opioid recovery.
Well, currently I work at the Salvation Army at 825 North Christiana. I'm the intake supervisor, so normally this is a men's facility where they come in, normally right off the street or either from a detox place where they can come in and get treatment. We're right in the middle of where heroin is sold rampantly.
Where is that again exactly?
Right at 825 North Christiana.
Okay, so
right
let's talk about
Chicago
that
Avenue,
area.
In that area.
Right in the middle, okay.
Yeah, it is increasingly getting worse, and with there not being a lot of heroin being sold anymore, it's more fentanyl based. It's really bad, and I think that a lot of people want to get help. I don't think they really know where to start until they may overdose or something like that. And then we do a lot of outreach too. We have the homeless services, and they go out and pass out cards. They do feeding, so when they do the homeless feeding, they're able to reach some of the people as well.
Okay.
And that kind of helps give a person a start, because I think if somebody's able to reach somebody right in the midst of when they're using, you know, and they don't expect someone while they're standing there shooting a bag of dope to say, hey, you want some help? You know, and they're like, well, not right now, but maybe later.
Yeah.
You know, and you pass them a business card, and later on when they're coming down, they think about, well, you know, that guy or that lady passed me the card, maybe I'll get some help. So, and being right there in the middle of the West Side where it's really prevalent, I think that kind of helps, because you don't expect a state-of-the-art treatment center to be right in the trenches, and we get a lot of business, so it's doing really well.
Interesting.
And it's a great facility.
How long have you been there?
Well, I've only been there going on 2 years.
Okay.
But the facilities, I think, has been there almost 5 years.
Okay.
It's a new building,
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah, so do you mind sharing with the audience, do you find that people struggle to reach recovery? I think we all find that to be reasonable, but how and why do you think it's so hard for people to reach recovery?
One of the main things is making up your mind. I think a lot of people go through detoxes and treatment to get some soothing from the bumps in the street.
Yeah,
you know?
take a little break. Every now
not
and then.
so much to get better. They're just like, wow, I'm just tired of this for now.
Interesting.
The euphoria keeps them coming back to the usage, you know, but that made up mind is such a powerful thing that you've got to hold on to, and that's what sustains recovery, is that made up mind. Most of our clients at the stage of 5 or 6 treatment episodes, they could probably teach the class, you know, in groups. They just haven't made up their mind in order to sustain long-term recovery. So I think that made up mind piece is part of the big thing. They've got to make their mind up.
So you see a lot of back and forth. And
recidivism is extremely high. Yeah, and with opioids more than anything.
Really? Why is that?
Well, just due to the fact that it's so readily available, you know. Cocaine has kind of went out the door. Opioids, even people that I think never even used opioids are more easy wanting to use opioids now. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are sometimes purchasing things that are cocaine, or they think it's cocaine, or they think it's Xanax or something else, and it actually is an opioid. It's fentanyl.
Yeah.
So it's not
Exactly.
even their fault. They literally aren't trying to do opioids, but they come across something that's disguising as one.
Wow.
Which is super scary. So they don't even know. And that's how
Very true.
one way that could happen.
And working in this field a long time, a lot of people that have had accidents, had surgery,
Sure.
were given Vicodin or something to that degree. The doctor tells, here's your prescription, you get 30 days worth. Okay, well then we'll give you another 30 days, but after that you're done.
Yep.
And then now I've got this habit and
Wow.
I want to still feel this way. And now, I'm out on the street trying to capture this same feeling. And that's happened a lot with this.
You see that a
opioid.
lot?
Oh, my goodness, yes. It happens a lot.
So let's step back. A client intake supervisor? Is that your official title?
I'm the intake supervisor.
Talk
yeah.
to me about your day-to-day really quick. What does that mean exactly?
Well, a person comes in from possibly detox or even off the street. As long as he can produce a negative urine screen, he can come
Wow.
in. Intake is very much like a social detox because, even coming in from detox, your medical detox, you're getting poked, you're getting prodded, they want blood work, they want this, that. So when you come to intake, you just kind of get to rest and you get to sleep. And you're able to sleep until you get assessed to make sure you're appropriate for treatment. Then, because treatment is all day, it's groups. So intake is just a level of care where you just are able to rest.
Okay.
So my day looks like assessing people, getting them assessed and up on the unit, making sure that they're appropriate for treatment. And that's what we do.
Interesting. So in 2 years, you've been doing this kind of work with the Salvation Army Center. Anything before that or anything else you're
I've
working
been
on?
working in addiction and recovery for the last 10 or 12 years.
So the field is not
Wow.
new to you,
No.
just this location.
No,
Let's
yeah,
talk
just
about
the location.
Let's talk about other places you've worked.
I worked with women. This is my first real experience, with the exception of the penitentiary, the penal system,
Wow.
that I've worked with men. Been working with women. I worked at Haymarket Center in St. Martin de Porres, women's recovery home. For a while, I worked with women and children in recovery and addiction. So yeah, and then going in and out of the penitentiaries in the county jail. I worked with some women as well.
This
I've
is
been doing this for
particularly
a while.
interesting work.
I also do recovery and addiction with Task, and I do
Our buddies at Task. Hey, Task. We just hosted our task force meeting at Task maybe 2 meetings ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
we can
I
find
do
some
work with them. I'm the president for the Winner's Circle. There's a Winner's Circle, which is a self-help meeting that is ran by a peer-led group that's not really related to 12-step or it's just people that want to stay sober and stay out of the penitentiary.
Okay.
And so
That's
it's not
nice.
related with church or it's not related with 12-step. And it's called the Winner's Circle, and I'm the president of that for the entire state of Illinois.
You said
Wow.
The Winner's Circle?
It's
The Winner's Circle?
So I'm the president of that for the state, and I just go and start meetings, and I allow other people to chair them.
That's a
or I
big
chair 'em
deal,
myself.
Geri.
Well, that's what happens when you decide to turn your life over.
Oh, wow.
So
Let's talk
nothing wrong
about
with
that. I
So-
want to get into what led you to this field. It being a challenging field, especially in Chicago, where resources are low and support is sometimes as low.
Resources are low, and they've changed over the
Oh, I'm
years.
sure. I'm so sure. But talk to us about what got you into this field.
Well, I worked in banking for a really long time. I worked in banking for about 10 years and had some friends that like to have a good time, and
Yeah.
they kind of, introduced me to a different life, and got in a lot of trouble, and that became my life for a long time on the south side of Chicago, and some of the most notorious projects on the south side.
What became your life?
The streets for a long time, for about 10 or 15 years. And I got in trouble, went to the penitentiary. And when I came home from the penitentiary, I went to a recovery home and thought I had kind of made up my mind and really didn't. A lot of times with people that are addicts, they always just want to see just maybe all those times I didn't do it right. So maybe if I can just try this one more time. And I think I just had this one more time attitude.
Really?
But it didn't play out. So I decided to come to recovery and got into doing a lot of service work. And people were like, well, yeah, you talk and your people listen to you. And why don't you try? And I decided to try and decided to start working in this field. And I've been stuck ever since.
Stuck.
And the reason I say stuck is because I don't think I'd ever want to do anything else.
Wow.
You know, this is
deep.
the kind of field where you derive off of your passion for helping people. You hear people
Absolutely.
say that, you want to help people, but you really got to want to help people.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm talking about really, really. Because some days you really don't want
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet.
But then you get this second gear that comes in and somebody comes in and says, I've been using 20 years and I really want to get better. Then that overdrive kicks in and you say, okay, I got you. I'm going to help you. Let's do this. And I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And it just happens, and you don't want to give up.
So you were addicted to opioids.
Yeah, yeah, that was one of them.
One of them. And what was that impact like during the time on your family?
Well, it doesn't allow you to do anything else. Drugs and alcohol don't allow you, even though in the back of your mind you say that you care. I had counselors tell me that I didn't care about my family, and it made me angry because I thought I did.
Yeah.
But when you care about your family, you go home and you don't spend all your money, but that's not what I was doing. I was spending all my money, and I wasn't going home, and I was leaving my kids with my mother.
How many children?
I have 2 daughters, but they're 100 years old now.
100.
No, I have my daughter's 37 and 27.
100, ladies. You're 100 today.
They're grown ups now,
Okay.
but however, I had a mother that was able to keep my kids for me, but in the trenches, it doesn't allow you to want to do anything. In the back of your mind, you're on your way to the store and you've got all these illustrious plans, and you're going to say, look, I'm going to the store and I'm going to buy these groceries and I'm going to do this. And on your way to the store, you see Joe, and the next thing you know, it's 3 days later. You have these plans, but it just doesn't ever work out like that, So thank goodness for programs that allow you to go and get some help if that's what you really want to do. On the other hand, with this epidemic that we currently find ourselves in thwarped in something that we probably won't be able to change immediately. There are so many programs and so much money out there that's willing to help. There's help out there, We've got Narcan training and all this stuff. You just got to be willing to seek out the help.
Absolutely. Let's talk really quick about how your girls were impacted. I mean, during, now.
There's still, my baby daughter, even though she's 27, every once in a while she may still, I used to say that your kids kind of hold you hostage to your addiction even afterwards. Even when things are going good, they still have a tendency. I tell my clients, don't allow your children to hold you because they'll hold you hostage to your past,
Your children will.
Yeah, of course, and your family will too.
Yeah.
Your family will keep saying, you remember when you did such and such? Well, honey, I got 20 years sober. When are you going to...
That doesn't go away, too.
Exactly.
It does not go away.
And I try to help my clients with that because that will even send you back out to using because you're so busy trying to fix what you did 100 years ago that you can't get better today. So impacting my children was one of the hardest things that trying to recoup that reality that I never could catch back.
Okay.
I couldn't come back and take them to the playground. I couldn't come back. And what I could do was be a good mom today and a good grandmother today. And I think that a lot of people that are stuck in this wanting to come back home and fix everything, you can't. You can just do what you can do today, but you can be a good mom today. You can be a good grandmother today. Those things are fixable, you know, but trying to recapture that past, it's impossible. You'll never be able to
Interesting.
recapture that.
Interesting.
So back then, like, did you have a hard time kind of accessing like resources, or were you trying to
I
find
was going to
resources?
hit on that because back in, actually, there was so many there were housing programs, and there were bus pass programs, and there were birth certificate. You know, you could just go get your state ID and get the free birth certificate. And there was a housing, Heartland Alliance. I think they had a housing program.
They worked together on the task
and
force.
they
Hey, Heartland
still-
Alliance.
They still have a program, but it's so, the waiting list is just,
Wow.
my goodness. Till, you know, if a person
So I'm on the
was-
road to recovery, but I have all this time
Exactly.
to wait around.
Exactly. Nobody, you can't, how do you expect somebody to try to,
Yeah.
what are they going to do
Yeah,
in
what
2
do they
years?
do?
And then I'm not considered homeless if I'm staying with my aunt.
Exactly. If you're on a couch, you're not homeless, but that's not your
But
home.
that's-
But you're still
Right. So then what do you, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't get how the program is, how you're going to help. So those are the things that I think needs work. You know, there's a stigma related to a lot of mental health, where there's mental health that's been affected. A lot of places have been closed for people that have, you know, dual diagnosis. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to be changed. But opioids, it's taken over. I think that's our biggest drug problem at this
Really?
current time. Cocaine is just a thing of the past.
Wow.
You know, even people that used to use cocaine are using opioids now.
Wow.
Yeah, that never even used opioids. I think it's. Yeah.
Do you know an opioid user out there who having trouble finding their road to recovery and want to ask Geri or us a question? Give us a call on the show, 312-738-1060. Wow, so cocaine's a thing of the past.
Yeah.
It's opioids now.
So you said there was an abundance of services back then. What did you wish what did you not see that you wish there was back then? Because you said people
More
did birth
programs
certificates and
more program for single men with children.
yeah.
Oh,
Because a
wow.
lot of times, you know, there were a lot of programs for women with children, but sometimes the mother was still gone, and there were fathers that had their children
Wow.
that, you know, couldn't get housing and stuff. So I think that was probably one of the programs that I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, just because
Yeah.
fathers can have children too. Where are they supposed to go? They
Yeah,
have to
they're
take care of the
supposed to
kids
go.
as well.
Good point.
You gotta help everyone.
What about programs for your children? Are they currently enrolled? Since you being clean and moving on, has your children had to do any counseling or any
They both
programs?
did. They
Really?
both did. Yeah, they
How'd that
both went to
go?
therapy, and they did really well. Both of my
Wow.
children are doing really good today.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're a grandma.
Yeah, well, my grandkids are 18.
Oh,
My goodness. You look great, Geri, that's for sure.
From high
That's
school.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Geri, your road to recovery is unlike many because you did not only recover, you then came back to the table and said, how can I help others recover? There is so much power in that, I believe.
Well, stepping up, when you get up on that step, you've got to reach down and
I love
pull
it.
some people
I love
up.
it.
That's,
Absolutely.
and I think it says a lot because if someone comes up to you, you know exactly what they have been through, what you have been through, and you can honestly give them an answer and be like, this is what you should do, this is what I did, this is what helped me, and they trust you because you've been through something, and they're like, she's not lying to me, she has my back, she knows exactly what I'm going through, like, she understands me, and that must feel so good to someone. Like,
does it? I'm sure
that's
it does.
amazing. Like, you have lived experience that literally can just help everyone.
Yeah, that trust factor.
It's amazing.
Is good to be able to share. A lot of times there are certain fields that I think you can work in. You know, if like a doctor, if you're not concerned about if he had a heart attack or not. You just want to know, can he fix your heart?
Can you fix it? Wow, what an interesting way of thinking of it.
A lot of times you want to know, even if the person has never had your experience, a lot of times maybe they've had a family member that's been impacted, or somebody, or it helps a lot. It helps
Absolutely.
a lot. Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are listening and who could be living this right now. Younger children who could be in a home with a using parent, or sisters and brothers who could be in a home with using siblings or grandmas. What advice do you have for families, specifically inner city Chicago families out west, in their road to their possible, hopeful road to recovery? What advice do you have for any users or anyone who's impacted because of opioid heroin users?
Call somebody. Tell somebody. Don't act like it doesn't exist. Call somebody.
And what do you recommend someone who really truly feels the stigma and who feels like they can't call anyone? They're like, if I call this person and tell them that I am using this substance, they're going to kick me out, or they're not going to talk to me anymore, or they're not going to want to help me. How do we get through those people?
You've got to be able to make that decision for yourself, Otherwise we die, It's a decision you've got to just take a hold to.
Die.
Yeah, you got to get up and go walk into a hospital or detox center and make that decision on your own, Whether or not somebody is going to feel a certain way about you, that's the relevance to the fact is not whether or not maybe that next bag you may die.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no point in forcing someone into treatment if they're not ready for it, or they want nothing to do with it. They're like,
difficult for it to work.
Do you deal with that a lot?
Yeah.
People being resistant for treatment.
Even like, say probation or parole or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times, if your mind is not made up, it's difficult.
Yeah.
A person's mind just has to be made up. Sometimes they get there and they say, I'm really glad I stayed. But once again, that transfer of that mind has to take place.
Absolutely.
And how long is your program for? Like, how long can...
They can stay there up to 2 years. Sometimes they stay longer. Yeah, up to 2 years.
That's amazing.
But they can stay longer.
If they want, they can stay longer.
Yeah, but most of the time it's like up to 2 years.
And how many beds do you guys have?
Well, my unit usually stays, the intake unit only holds 20.
20? Okay, that's still
and the treatment unit holds 20.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This is out west where again?
This is at 825 North Christiana.
825 North Christiana, right on the west side of Chicago.
Right, yep, right.
Road to recovery. You can do it.
The opioid epidemic.
Right in the middle of the opioid epidemic. Literally right where the drug is showing its ugly face.
Yes, very true.
Where we need the help the most. It's a big deal. Thank you so much, Geri, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's amazing what you were doing.
It is amazing what you're doing.
I don't know. I think people would love to be around you, and you would just make such a big difference.
I mean, how brave.
It's very cool what you were doing.
I just appreciate it and love what I do.
Yes.
And I
people
thank
can
you
sense
for having
that.
me.
I can
love
feel
what
that.
you all do, too.
Right, thank you. As we'll get into that in our last few minutes. As the word out west has kind of progressed, we really wanted to make sure our first few shows kind of laid the ground, and we taught our audience a little bit about what Narcan was, what opioids meant. But we really wanted to get into the hard-hitting stories and talk to people who are actually survivors of this crisis. So you are our first one on the show.
Well, thank you.
And we are so happy to have you. I think it made for a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
And you are doing great work, and we encourage you to continue to do great work.
Right.
Check us out always Mondays at 5, The Word Out West. We are so happy to have Geri Clark
Thank you
here.
so much.
You can find her at, give me the address again to your location.
25 North Christiana, Salvation Army.
At the Salvation Army. She's an intake coordinator, and she's going to be helping anyone needing recovery from the opioid crisis. Check us out again next Monday for our special guests, Mondays at 5, The Word Out West. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. You did great.
Good job.